the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. in the Aldermanic Chamber, which has been duly noticed in 2 places, including the city's website, in accordance with the requirements of RSA 91A. Prayer will be offered by City Clerk Dan Healy, and Alderman at Large Michael O'Brien will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance, please.
Alderman O'Brien.
Present.
Alderwoman Timmons. Alderman Moran.
Here.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Here.
Alderman Govea. Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Sullivan.
I'm here on Zoom as I'm traveling in Chicago on business. I can hear you, and no one is in the room with me. Thanks.
Alderman Clemens.
Here.
Alderman Sennett.
Here.
Alderman Jettie. Alderman Tebow.
Here.
Alderman Clee.
Here.
Alderman Dowd.
Present.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Here.
Alderman Wilshire.
Here.
13 present, 2 absent.
We have a quorum. Also joining us this evening is Mayor Jim Donchis and Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton. Mayor, did you wish to address the board this evening?
Yes, Madam President. I wanted to mention a couple things that are on the agenda tonight, or a few things, and then something else that I'll get to at the end. But first of all, at our last meeting, we had a group of people can't come in, some of which were from out of town, but to express concern regarding the acquisition by a Chinese entity of the property on Northwestern Boulevard. And subsequent to that, various concerns have been expressed concerning the Chinese acquisition of property in New Hampshire and specifically in Nashua. So if you look to R-25-208, which is being introduced for the first time tonight, in this resolution, I am seeking your authority to write to state and federal office holders, especially those who have expressed concern, to ask for their support regarding the purchase of Daniel Webster College, their financial support. And why do I say this? Well, Daniel Webster College is a 40-some acre parcel, just as closer to the airport, just nearly as close to the water supply, closer to BAE, same distance from Hanscom, all the concerns that were expressed. And it is owned by a Chinese entity. And it is sat in our community unproductive for such a long time, for years. And if we could obtain the funds to purchase that property, which we believe it could be purchased around $20 million, we could do something productive, housing, something good there rather than just nothing, and then it would be owned by somebody of American citizenship rather than a Chinese corporation. So, hopefully you will support that resolution. Number 2, there are some housing issues that are, I think, coming forward. And of course, I know we all are working on trying to create as much housing and affordable housing as we can. There's a resolution to approve a development agreement with the Housing Authority for the redevelopment of part of Maynard Homes. As you will recall, we as a group supported the redevelopment of the Bronstein Apartments to Monahan Manor, and we're able to increase the number of units there by 150 or so, and all of which are affordable. And there's a similar undertaking that the Housing Authority wants to do over on Burke Street at Maynard Homes, and this would be the first phase. So that development agreement would go to whatever the appropriate committee is, and hopefully we can get that project off the ground and create some more housing. On another front, the demolition of the NIMCO property, where we will see the development of 200 and some units of housing, should begin either late this month or early, or sometime in October, should begin and be completed sometime in the next couple of months. That will, of course, lead to the development of housing there. You have approved a development agreement for that property, so once the demolition occurs, then construction could begin. I did want to mention, Madam President, R 25-200, which is an agreement with the Boys and Girls Club for the acceptance of funds of considerable, over $400,000, that the Boys and Girls Club has raised to upgrade the street hockey facility that is city-owned but adjacent to the club. The Bruins have given money. Conway Arena has given a lot of money. Craig Fitzgerald, who leads the club, is here and has made presentations to the Board of Public Works, at least one, maybe twice. I believe it was at the Infrastructure Committee, showing that committee what they were planning. Nothing is required of the city other than we're simply agreeing to give them use of that, exclusive use for their programming for, I think it's 12 to 15 hours per week. But it would result in a very large upgrade to that facility, not only for their members, but also for any kids who want to use it in the neighborhood when the Boys and Girls Club are not using it. If you could consider a suspension of the rules to pass that tonight, it would be, and some of you I know are familiar with this, it would be helpful because they would like to start and try to finish this job this fall, and weather is becoming an issue, and therefore the quicker that they can begin, the better. I know Mr. Fitzgerald is here. If anybody had any questions, I'm sure he would be more than happy to answer them. Finally, Madam President, I wanted to mention something that just happened. I just came out of a meeting from over at the library with various downtown business owners, as well as other city employees, Bobby Bagley, LaTanya Musioli on the housing front, Liz Hannum from Economic Development. And it was with various owners of downtown properties and businesses, which, I won't go through everyone who was there, but you're familiar with pretty much everyone that was there. And they are expressing very significant concerns regarding the escalation of the problem of homelessness in the downtown and the escalation of aggressive behavior, which they believe is affecting the viability of their businesses and is causing them to lose revenue. Now, I know we've talked about this many times, but the survival, the success, a thriving downtown business community is essential to the success of the city. So I think we need to explore with them some new approaches to try to improve the situation. I think you, as a group, we should arrange a meeting so you can hear directly what some of these concerns are. But some solutions have come to the fore, which I may be able to help in the short term. Number one, Brian Kenny, the deputy police chief, is And he was not able to attend, but he has suggested that the police department, starting next week, is willing to assign an officer to a downtown patrol 6 days a week to try to deter some of the more aggressive behavior. They, I think, would be ticketing, public drinking, public, use of narcotics, kind of theft, anything that they see that's actually a legal violation. But he's talking, I believe, and we need to explore this further, about a 2-month trial. We'll see if that, what the effect is. A couple of other things we've talked about is the possibility of having downtown restrooms, because human waste is definitely an issue. Also, the City of Manchester has adopted an approach where they have a downtown cleanup ambassador crew, which they deploy throughout the year in their downtown area. Now, theirs is actually a very large area on Elm Street. Theirs is bigger than, they're much more stretched out. It's a much bigger area than what we have. But we, I think, should consider doing a similar thing to just improve the kind of the friendliness of downtown and the cleanliness and just the atmosphere downtown. But I don't have anything specific for you tonight, but just I wanted to let you know of the level of concern, which is high, and that this meeting had occurred. I think we should try to arrange something with members of the Board of Aldermen with the downtown people, just so you can hear directly, and find out more about the police department program and see how that works and try to make sure, if it's successful, that we continue with it. But really just an update. But I know you're all committed to the downtown business community, and I just want to make sure that you're aware of these developments. And that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. Response to the remarks of the mayor? Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. Genius idea on trying to get Daniel Webster College. I think that would be a remarkable thing for the city, and I'm glad that you're moving forward, and hopefully we all pass that. That'd be a wonderful thing. Since it's a long debate and there's no point in going through line by line, but I would be more than interested in learning more about the concerns of downtown businesses, and for sure a public restroom that can be accessed by all. This is one of the things that I mentioned at one of our joint meetings between Human Affairs and PDC several months ago, regarding our ability to provide utilities like that to deter any ill sights on the streets and sidewalks. So I'm glad that was also a conversation that the downtown businesses wanted to see as well. But thank you.
Alderman Lopez.
Well, echoing some of the remarks already made, but this building has 2 public restrooms, and we've been intentionally closing them. So I think it damages our credibility when we say we're trying to work with all these organizations and downtown businesses, but we won't open our bathrooms. So I think that's a very straightforward solution that is long sought after, because what are people going to do when they have to go? And if they don't have anywhere to be, then they have to go somewhere. So I think that's a situation that we just need to address as a matter of investment. I also think that policy-wise, we've known this situation has been brewing for years. We have increased our investment somewhat in the city welfare system, and we have stood up a lot of new programs with a lot of commendable leadership from the public health department. But we are still going to need to do something to really increase the capacity. As the weather gets colder, people are going to move closer downtown, and you're going to see more behavioral issues that come from desperation. All that being said, I also know a lot of the people that are interacting downtown, and I think it's a little bit too broad a brush to say only people who are homeless are acting out or, causing issues. There's a number of people that are in programs that are adjacent to downtown that we should be engaging those organizations and trying to partner with them so that they can better intervene when there's patterns of behavior, because there's some behaviors that people have case managers, people have treatment providers, and they're not aware of the things that are happening. And we're addressing it only from a law enforcement perspective. And there's barriers between, medical issues and law enforcement. So I do think that we should have a meeting or a hearing where businesses are allowed to express themselves here at the Board of Aldermen. But I also think any Board of Aldermen member who's interested in hearing from business owners could go to Downtown Improvement Committee. There's one this Friday. And these issues are regularly discussed, and it's going to just get worse as it gets colder. So we're going to need to start looking at how we can more directly intervene so that two populations with needs aren't competing with each other for those needs.
Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Madam President. Alderman Lopez always speaks to this much more eloquently than I can. But to his point, this is a matter that's been brewing for quite a while now, and I'm glad to see that it's getting to the point that we're going to address it as a board. Once upon a time, before I sat on this board, I did sit on the Downtown Improvement Committee, and these were discussions that were happening even then. Not just the discussions with the business owners and the local services serving this population, but the discussion, as Alderman Lopez had pointed out, about the bathrooms downtown, the fact that we have 2 here at City Hall that are not open. The question was raised years ago. Could we do that? And we're still there. So I'm glad to see that the conversation is moving forward and upward. I'd be happy to carve out time in the schedule for to have that meeting with the downtown business owners so we can continue addressing this as a community. I think it's something that definitely needs to happen.
Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam President. So when they all came out for the Chinese water company, the first thing I said was, well, what about Daniel Webster College? I mean, that's been there for 10 years, vacant. They've been spying on us for 10 years, and you're worried about a place that's going to make water for people? At least they're doing something, where Daniel Webster College just sits there and it takes up space, and we don't even know why they bought it or why they're there. So I'm fully supportive of trying to get that back into the city's hands, into local hands, or I guess American-owned hands, and to try to do something good with it, because it's a big piece of property that needs to be done. As far as the homeless issue, I mean, it's just going to get worse. I mean, it's going to get worse everywhere, not just here. And I think it's not a unique issue to Nashua. I'm glad that we're seeing police go back out there. I think it's important to make sure our citizens are safe, whether they're homeless or not homeless. We want to make sure people are safe out there and enjoying the downtown. We got to come up with creative solutions, and maybe bathrooms is one of them. I'd like to see cities that have public bathrooms outside and see how they do in that arena, I guess. Going to the library walk when it opened, I was being interviewed for it, and guy from the escape room there came out and started yelling about how terrible the walk was because people are going to the bathroom in it all the time, And so it's definitely an issue, and I'd be happy to sit with the business owners. I want to know what their issues are and how we can come to creative solutions for everyone to try to make it a better place, because it's really our jewel is that downtown. So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Recognition period.
None.
Reading minutes of previous meetings. There being no objection, I'll declare the minutes of the Special Board of Aldermen meetings of August 5th, August 7th, and August 12th, 2025 be accepted, placed on file, and the reading suspended. Communications requiring only procedural actions and written reports from liaisons.
Communication has been received from Jim Donchis, Mayor, regarding a report on surplus and overlay fiscal year 2026. Communication has been received from Laurie Wilshire, President, Board of Aldermen, regarding Aldermanic Committee change, Joint Special School Building Committee. And communication has been received from Office of Corporation Counsel regarding R-25-199, authorizing Pennachuck Waterworks, Inc. to issue bonds in an amount not to exceed $99 million. There was a typo on the agenda, and it should read as $99 million.
There being no objection, I'll accept the communications and place them on file. Without objection, I would like to suspend the rules to allow for communication that was received after the agenda was prepared.
Communication has been received from the Office of Corporation Counsel regarding R-25-209, authorizing Pennachuck Corporation and Pennachuck Waterworks, Inc. to increase the loan from the State of New Hampshire PFAS Remediation Grant and Loan Fund. And communication has been received from Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services, and Lisa Foto, Director of Public Works, regarding communication seeking re-referral of R-25-151 amended back to the Budget Review Committee.
There being no objection, I will accept the communications and place them on file. Period for public comment relative to items expected to be acted upon this evening. We have 3 people signed up. Lori Ortolano.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. In part, I came out because I received an email from Donna Graham that you were going to address the minutes from the 8/7/25 special meeting and the non-public session and how it was handled. And I don't even see where it's on here. I mean, that's the letter I got from Donna, and I guess you're not going to do that. I was told by Gary Perrin through legal and Donna that it was going to be handled. So I don't understand what's going on here. But I also want to address your ordinance, 060, banners, flags, and signs. And I don't think that should be tabled indefinitely. I think that's a political move during election season. You brought that forward with language that wasn't really constitutional. And Alderman Dowd, you have an opportunity to amend that language. The board gave good input. That policy exists in Manchester, and they used the language of the NEFAC to make their banner, sign, and flag policy constitutional, and there's no reason why we can't do the same, except that it's too scary during election season to go and grab it and do it. And, you know, where was our attorney for that meeting? Even if he was invited supposedly by Shoshana Kelly and there was a mix-up, why wasn't Corporation Counsel at that meeting to address the constitutional issue, especially when the NEFAC sent a letter? Because we have created policies not only for public comment, but for banners, signs, and flag that I believe are not constitutional, and they have been supported by our legal office. I don't think our public comment policy that says profane and offensive is not acceptable, but crude and vulgar are. And in Manchester, they struck all of that because legally, the definition for profane, offensive, crude, and vulgar are all different. And they have different categories of expressions that fit in there. When a legal office designs a policy where you as a board have to know what lane you're in on profane and offensive when somebody talks versus crude and vulgar, you set yourself up for lawsuits because you don't know how to do that. It's too complicated. So what did Manchester do? They took NEFAC's advice and they said, all that's off the table. All we're going to say is we encourage civility. And they know at times meetings get heated. Somebody will come up here and say something colorful, and it just rolls away and is gone. There's no need to act on it. But you make it so that you can't be successful, and you invite litigation. And this policy for banners, signs, and flags is done the same way. And I think legal should have been here. I've learned from Shoshana Kelly that you've now established a policy to make certain legal comes to meeting they should be at. Did you get a copy of that policy? I bet you it's not in writing. I bet you if I do a right to know, it doesn't exist. Who got the policy and how we're going to make certain this doesn't happen again? I'm sure it's nobody. This is a political move to table this. And instead of tabling it, you should be discussing it. Thank you.
Paula Johnson?
Good evening. My name is Paula Johnson. I live at 15 Westbourne Drive. First of all, I want to speak about R-25-151, and that's that $5.5 million for the study, for the Public Works garage design. You know, $2.2 million came before this board, and you voted on it. They said the life of the building was going to be 30 years. I spoke about this the last time. Now they're asking for $5.5 million for the division garage design. You know, so right now we're at $7.7 million for a design of a garage. And then they came back and said the life of the garage was going to be 20 years, and I question that. Is it 20, is it 30? But a building should last more than 20, 30 Yes, as long as you maintain it. That's the key here. And I keep asking for the maintenance policies on all our buildings, and I never see it. And even if I ask for it underneath the right to know law, I'm not entitled to it because there's no legislation, there's nothing in writing, we can't find anything, we can't make things up. Well, we're not making things up when things come before the board, and you have purchases, and you have invoices, so there's nothing made up here. The other thing is I want to talk about is O-25-060. Well, it's here right now, indefinitely postponed, and I hope everybody votes on that tonight. But that doesn't mean it's the end of this, because I'm sure it will come up again. Because when I spoke on this the last time, and I had a conversation with Alderman Dowd outside of City Hall, I said, when I was on this board, we didn't have a problem with signs or banners. We very rarely had it, but we kept the politics out of it. So somebody could not come in with a badge saying that they're running, or another politician. We kept it non-political and non-partisan. The problem what's happened here, when you have all these ordinances that are written, it becomes very partisan. This board has to be nonpartisan, even though we know which party you're in. You're supposed to be here voting and acting for the good of the people. And if somebody came in and I came in with a poster and I stood over there in the corner and I said, you could still see me with my poster being up, but it had nothing to do with the politics of anybody running in the city or any other office that's being run. So I hope that you're going to keep this and you're going to indefinitely postpone it, but you're going to look at the future.
30 seconds.
On what we are allowed to have in this chamber, because this is the people's chamber, not the aldermen and our government's chamber. Thank you.
The next speaker is Greg, I can't read the last name, Getz. Come on up. Please give your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Greg Gately, 106 Osgood, Milford, New Hampshire, 300 Main Street is my business right here in Nashua. Rude Awakening Kava Bar. So I'm here for the Kratom bill legislation that we discussed a few months back. I still am not 100% sure what direction this is going, but I do want to say, you know, this is the first time that this has ever hit my table, and the first time I've ever had to get up in front of any committees and speak about this. And since this is my first, Nashua was my first stab at this, and since then I've been on Capitol Hill in Boston a couple months ago, and I'll be back there tomorrow doing the same thing. So I just want to thank you guys, everyone here on the committee, for taking the time to listen to us, the community, the people. When we voiced our concerns, it didn't fall on deaf ears. I want to thank Ren from the Board of Health, the director, for really listening to what we had to say. And, you know, me being the only kava bar, first kava bar in New England, and, you know, the only one in Massachusetts now, you know, we are a very, very important place in the community. You probably don't hear it enough, and, you know, this is brand new to this region, and I'm tapping into an unexplored territory, but we help people. We have a place that adults can actually come to that don't want to drink anymore, and they have a place that they can socialize with community. We are one of one. I've had people, you know, go to a bar, turn around, come back to my place, and thank me. I've had multiple people cry in front of me, saying how my place has saved their lives. So with that being said, kava and kratom is something that, when used responsibly, just doesn't provide a social aspect, but also a health benefit, and potentially save, you know, a mother's life, a father's life, a brother or sister. And every time I leave that bar at night and I drive home, I have a feeling of gratefulness because I'm able to do that to the community. I'm originally from California, born and raised. I came out here to Massachusetts, and I went to school, and I bought my first house in New Hampshire. Live Free or Die was, you know, the appeal to me. Came during COVID. I just want to say that, coming into Nashua and being part of this community, I'm very grateful, and I learned to love the city and the community. So with that being said, I'm not sure where the direction this is going, but I do thank you guys.
Ends our public comment period. Communications requiring final approval.
Communication has been received from Mayor Jim Donchis regarding multi-year contract award claims software.
Alderman Govea.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to accept, place on file, and approve a 5-year renewal contract for the continued operation of claims software with Computer Science Corporation in the amount not to exceed $284,656.65. Funding will be through Department 120, Technology Maintenance, Fund General Fund 54, Property Services. By roll call, please.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Communication has been received from Mayor Jim Donchis regarding multi-year contract award software share file advanced.
Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to accept, place on file, and approve a 3-year renewal contract for the continued operation of ShareFile Advanced with Progress in the amount not to exceed $10,656. That's $3,552 per year. Funding will be through Department 120 Technology Maintenance Fund, General Fund 54 Property Services. By roll call, please.
Heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Communication has been received from Mayor Jim Donchis regarding multi-year contract award insurance brokerage services.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve a 3-year contract for professional insurance brokerage and consulting services with USI Insurance in the amount not to exceed $231,750, $77,250 per year. Funding will be through Department 128 Risk Management, Fund Risk Management Administration, 53 Professional and Technical Services. By roll call.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries.
Communication has been received from Mayor Jim Donchis regarding tax increment finance development program Water Street Guardrail repainting project.
Alderman Clee.
Thank you, Madam President. A motion to accept, place on file, and approve a contract with ED Sweat Incorporated to rehabilitate a portion of the Water Street guardrail to include removal and disposal of paint and surface rust from all guardrail system surfaces prior to repainting in the amount not to exceed $60,000. Funding will be through Department 183 Economic Development, Fund Riverfront TIF Fund /54 Property Services. By roll call, please.
You've heard that motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman T-Vote.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Petitions.
Petition for street acceptance, Sanders Street, right turn lane.
There being no objection, I'll accept the petition for street acceptance, refer it to the Committee on Infrastructure and the Nashua City Planning Board, and schedule a public hearing for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Aldermanic Chamber. Nominations, appointments, and elections.
Appointments by the mayor, Historic District Commission, Christopher Barrett, reappointment, term to expire September 9th, 2027, 44 Abbott Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03064. Paige Holtman, new appointment, term to expire October 14th, 2028, 5 Bruce Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03064. Housing Revolving Fund Committee, Skylar Wheeler, new appointment, term to expire September 9th, 2028, 7 Vague Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03060. Nashua Airport Authority, Larry Garrett, new appointment, term to expire August 31st, 2028, 59 Ledgewood Hills Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03062.
There being no objection, I'll accept the appointments as read and refer them to the Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee. Reports of committees. There being no objection, I'll declare the reports of the August 5th and August 25th Budget Review Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the August 6th Finance Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I will declare the report of the August 13th Joint Meeting, Committee on Infrastructure and Police Commission be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the August 4th, 2025 Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee be accepted and placed on file. Confirmation of mayor's appointments.
Cable Television Advisory Board.
There being no objection, I'll confirm the following new appointment to the Cable Television Advisory Board. Oscar Velasquez, 76 Bowview Ave, Nashua, with a term to expire June 10th, 2028. Mr. Velasquez would come forward and take the oath of office, please. Come right up to the attorney's desk.
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Cable Television Advisory Board of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Downtown Improvement Committee.
There being no objection, I'll confirm the following new appointment to the Downtown Improvement Committee. Alyssa Drift, 18 Cushing Ave, Nashua, with a term to expire July 22nd, 2028. Is Alyssa here this evening? No? Okay, she will be sworn in at a later date.
Nashua Revolving Loan Fund Committee.
There being no objection, I'll confirm the following new appointment to the Nashua Revolving Loan Fund Committee. Christine Malloy, 9 Parkhurst Ave, Nashua, with a term to expire September 8, 2028. Is Christine here this evening? Oh, please come. Pinehurst, thank you. You can come forward and take the oath of office.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Nashua Revolving Loan Fund Committee, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business resolutions.
Fourth reading of R-25-151 amended, authorizing the mayor and city treasurer to issue bonds not to exceed $5,500,000 for the Public Works Division garage design.
Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to re-refer R-25-151 to the Budget Review Committee by roll call. I'd like to speak to it briefly.
Alderman Dowd.
Director Cummings and Director Photo have indicated there's additional information they would like to provide to the board relative to this particular resolution and before it gets fully presented. So they've asked that it be re-referred to budget. So the motion is to do just that, re-refer to budget.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Would the clerk? Oh, Alderman Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm unsure if I want to re-refer this to committee. It's my hope that if we do re-refer it, that we specifically outline what the business case is, not just for this $5.5 million, but for the entire price tag of the DPW garage. I think that if there is a business case to be made, it's my hope that we can clearly show the citizens of Nashua that we have a $54 million problem to solve. So I'm undecided on where I'm going to go, but if it does go back to committee, that's my hope. Thanks.
Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I definitely support it going back to committee because, I mean, the department it's coming from is telling us they have more information or they want to work on it a bit. Maybe it comes down, I don't know, maybe it goes up, I don't know. But if they're thinking it's not ready for us, then I don't see why we shouldn't send it back to committee to work on.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, would the clerk please call the roll? The motion is for re-referral.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
that motion carries. And Resolution 151, as amended, is re-referred to the Budget Review Committee.
Second reading of R-25-195, authorizing deed waivers for certain properties.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make the motion for final passage of R-25-195 by roll call, and may I speak very briefly?
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. As you know, we sometimes, for tax purposes, gather the property, and we hope that a resolution would come forward. This is exactly what happened here. So therefore, the city is releasing, and everything's fine, and the system is working well. So I hope you support this. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
that motion carries, and Resolution 25-195 is declared duly adopted. Unfinished business ordinances.
Second reading of O-25-051, prohibiting the sale of kratom.
Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to amend O-25-051 by replacing it with the goldenrod copy of recommended amendments made at the Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee by roll call. And if I could speak to the amendment briefly.
Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. I originally introduced this legislation as a full ban, and through working with advocates of the use of kratom for holistic purposes and working with the gentleman who owns the Kava Bar here in the city, we brought that advocacy to the Board of Health, and they balanced what we were able to do in regards to a full ban a partial ban, and really looking at what the purpose of the legislation was as well, to keep the substance known as kratom out of the use of children and teens and young adults. And with that, the recommendation from the Board of Health was to amend to 21 plus. And since I've spoken to other advocates who wanted to see a ban, many of whom you saw here speak against supporting the ban, and they too were okay and comfortable with the 21 plus restriction, because the key purpose was, again, keeping it away from kids. And the entire process also brings up a key point of being a Dillon state. And I'm sure this will be a story that Alderman Klee will be telling as part of her Dillon stories. But we cannot really regulate the concentrated chemical found in kratom, which you'll see in these over-the-counter speed gummies. When you heard the kratom, the Kava bar owner come up and speak about the kratom that he's using, it's the natural kratom leaf. It's not the concentrated. And even he and the other advocates that came to speak regarding the substance are against the concentrated version and think that should be regulated like it's done in other states. So I'm hoping that the ban provides not some education with the 21 plus, and that's why it's being changed. I'll talk more to it once hopefully the amendment pass. But that's basically why we are amending it today. Dillon law restrictions, recommendations by the Board of Health, which now includes someone who is mastering social science, and you can see that might have been a difference in the recommendation here. And the restrictions on what we actually can do when it comes to that other substance that's much more compound, concentrated kratom chemicals. So with that, I hope you would support this amendment.
Motion is to amend. Discussion on that motion? Seeing none, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Klee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries. Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. With that, I would like to motion for final passage of 025-051 as amended by roll call. And again, if I could speak briefly to it.
Alderman Moran.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank the Board of Health for weighing the sides of both folks who wanted a full ban and those who wanted the partial ban age restriction. I also want to thank the Department of Public Health, Director Bagley, and Ren for taking the lead on organizing such detailed work sessions with the Board of Health members and advocates in the community, and taking an approach that balances the needs of the community that we have here in Nashua. There are other communities that do have the full ban, but that they are different from how we manage the needs of our population. And I think it was very well done in a very professional way. And again, thank the doctors that are on the Board of Health, and again, the Henry Oach, who's really taken a great approach by honing in those social needs of folks who need different outlets and services that may not be in the traditional medical model. And of course, members of the public who came and participated. That's probably the greatest piece of all of this is that it started off very contentious, but I think once everyone sat down and started to listen to each other, we found the common ground. No, a single person that was advocating to keep this legal was saying that it should be for kids. And that's what we should all be walking away from. People who use this and know that it should not be used for kids, and then the professionals and other healthcare providers who also know it's not for kids from the science that they've done. So real experience versus medical experience, and I hope you would all support it at the end of the vote.
Motion is for final passage of 02551 as amended. Further discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau,
Yes.
Alderman Govea,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Senate,
Yes.
Alderman Tebow,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries, and ordinance 2551 is declared duly adopted as amended.
Second reading of O-25-060, prohibiting banners, flags, and signs at meetings.
Alderman Dowd.
I'd like to make a motion for indefinite postponement of O-25-060 by roll call. I'd like to speak to it briefly.
Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, the reason for indefinite postponement has nothing to do with election season. I originally put this in with the idea of it being a safety issue with the size of signs we were starting to see. In the first meeting, we talked about it. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of people changing, trying to make things. So it was very obvious it was not ready for prime time. At the next personnel meeting, I put in a memo suggesting that it get indefinitely postponed. Someone on the committee made the motion to do that, and it passed unanimously. And we now recommend that the full board indefinitely postpone O-25-060.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank Alderman Dowd for pulling this back if it's not ready for prime time. But I think you were on the mark. We have a lot of nice, sweet old ladies that watch our program, and they don't need to hear. I mean, I came from the firehouse environment. I know the good words and I know the bad words. We all do. But in this chamber, those should never be uttered. So I understand the context of that. This place is built on decorum and tradition. And so therefore, it doesn't appear to be us as aldermen in violation of this. But maybe perhaps all of us should try to find a better angel when we communicate. And that would be the best thing. So thank you, Alderman Dowd.
Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, I mean, same people that said they hated this legislation now want it voted on. So it's not political. That's political. It's not political because we had a committee meeting where people were confused. They didn't know what it was for. They didn't know why, trying to solve a problem that wasn't there. So in the end, I think party, nonpartisan, partisan, whatever, I think no one probably wants to pass this. So as it is, and I'm not even sure if this will even come back at a later date. It's a problem we don't have, so we don't need to do it. So Alderman Dowd made the right choice to decide to ask the committee to postpone it, and they did. So I think it's a good thing.
Alderman Lopez.
Not to be the ultimate contrarian, but I was actually in favor of this, literally because I interpreted it as we shouldn't have giant flow charts, billboards, things blocking the hallway, and that's all I thought it was trying to do. It sort of got spun in the meeting as trying to inhibit free speech and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, I think I understood it to just be, don't create an unsafe as in you're literally impeding traffic or that kind of stuff. It may have done more, and I mean, that's why we listen to people and that's why we have committees. But I don't really have a problem of saying, like, you can't bring in things that are going to block the way.
Anyone else? Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. I think my colleague at large, Alderman O'Brien's right on in the context of trying to be more positive about how we communicate with one another. And personally, I found that my approach out in the community as a Medicaid advocate and using positive psychology with the First Amendment has been much more effective in getting folks to hear the needs for practical reform, unlike what's happening now. But I'm also was taken aback by some people still find the positive approach offensive. And I was, it just goes to show you that you can't please everyone. And I have an example. I didn't want to print it on paper, because I didn't want to harm a tree, but I don't know if we can zoom in on this here, if I can get this right.
Ooh, I don't think we have that sophisticated.
Oh, no, now it's not working. Oh, I can do it. This is Bill Murray, and it says, "You're awesome."
Enhance.
Some people find that offensive. But I don't think anyone around here would say we should ban that sign from being held up. And I think when we view it that way, of who thinks what's offensive, it gets to be a slippery slope. So I do encourage the Alderman O'Brien approach, the positive First Amendment approach. But if the other approach comes through, we can just move on and say, oh, well. Thank you.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes, I just want to address something that was brought up in public comment. There was miscommunication about legal attending. I did not state that there was a citywide policy. Every committee chair runs their committees differently, and I said that I will be asking in person or in writing if people need to be attending meetings. So it was not a citywide policy.
Okay, motion is for indefinite postponement. No further discussion? The clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
that motion carries, and ordinance 2560 is declared indefinitely postponed.
Second reading of O-25-061, authorizing a stop sign on Weld Street at its intersection with Oldfield Road.
Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion for final passage of O-25-061 by roll call.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
that motion carries, and ordinance 2563, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Ordinance 2561 is declared duly adopted.
Second reading of O-25-063, amending the unaffiliated employees' personnel policies with respect to the unaffiliated employee salary and wage schedule.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Sorry. I am moving for final passage of O-25-063 by roll call.
Motion is for final passage. Discussion on that motion. Alderman Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I actually had a couple of questions on this, and the first one, I was in preparation for tonight looking back at the early June meeting where this was presented, and I wanted to see if I could ask through you to Alderwoman Kelly to find out, she had asked in the meeting about the salary information in combination with the fringe benefits, while they are unrelated in that they're separate line items. She did want to see what the cost would look like to the city with those salaries combined with the fringe benefits, and I was just curious to see if she had gotten that information, if she might be able to share that with us if she did.
Alderwoman Kelly?
Alderman Sullivan, I don't recall that the last meeting this passed unanimously without any discussion. So was that 6 months ago?
No, that was in June.
I don't recall getting any specific follow-up information.
Could I also ask another question, please?
Yes.
It was also recommended at that meeting that this approach should be a phased-in approach. Originally, they were going to do it all at once and then there were discussions between Mr. Cummings and Mr. Griffin at that point to phase it in, and I was just curious if the plan that we're looking at is a phased-in approach.
I don't believe it is. It sounds like a Tim Cummings, but I don't believe it is.
I don't know that anyone here can answer that.
Okay. Madam Chair, sorry.
You all set, Alderman Sullivan?
No, I'd actually like to make a motion to table this ordinance. It was mentioned in that meeting that this is not time sensitive, and I do believe that because of, while I do agree wholeheartedly in paying the employees of our city, I would like to know before I say yes to this, this is a financial impact, as stated here, of $450,000, that there is some more information that I think we could use in order to just make a fully informed decision. So I'd like to make a motion to table it, please.
Would the clerk please call the roll on the tabling?
Alderman O'Brien.
No.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
No.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
No.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
No.
Alderman Clee.
No.
Alderman Dowd.
No.
Alderwoman Kelly.
No.
Alderman Wilshire.
No.
5 yeas, 8 nays.
That motion fails. So the motion before us is for final passage. Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President. I mean, I guess the first annoyance I have is that we have something as large as paying the city employees, and I know it's not everyone, it's the unaffiliated, which is still a good amount, and we don't have anyone here that could speak to these questions. That's my first annoyance. Second one is, if someone was looking over this and they cared about this, why didn't they come to the committee and ask those questions then? Why are we waiting till now to ask those questions with no one in the room? And I still don't understand why someone's not here to answer those questions. We've asked this a million times, like, when we have something that's legislation important that's on here, why, it doesn't have to be Mr. Cummings, it could be our new CFO, it could be other people that could answer that question. And so it's annoying that they're not here, and I don't know, that's just a comment, I guess.
I can answer some of it.
Mayor?
It's not phased in, even though that could be an approach. It's as proposed and as recommended by the committee, it's not phased in, number one. Number two, the approximate cost is $450 of the salaries, but these are not new employees, so there would not be like a big increase in healthcare benefits or everything. They've already got those. So I think you could add, 15%. Now that's kind of a guess. I'm thinking about Social Security and the pension. 15%, maybe a little bit more on top of the 450. I would, at least is in the kind of the ballpark.
Further discussion. Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, one of the things that concerns me is recently we had 3 union contracts come through. They all got passed unanimously and cheerfully. These are unaffiliated. I think it's about time that we take care of them as well. And the benefits are huge increases, the mayor was just saying. And I think in all fairness, Manchester did the same thing, and their salaries, by the way, are a heck of a lot higher than what we're passing. And I think that we need to step up and address support for our non-affiliated, just like we do for the unions. It would not be fair to our unaffiliated not to do this.
Alderwoman Kelly.
I'd like to echo the comments of the previous speaker. I think it's really important that we take care of everyone who works for our city. I also wanted to address the motion to table This has been before the committee multiple times. Sorry, I couldn't instantly recall the answer that he was looking for, but it has come up. We talked about who they were going to study. We made additional changes to that. They came back and walked through that with us. Then they came back and talked about how that could potentially work, and then they came back again. So at least 4 times it was in front of the committee. So to try to re-refer is a little bit frustrating because it's all supposed to be done in the committee. So if you're concerned about something, you want to hear about it, come to the committee meetings.
Alderman Clee.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to echo all the previous speakers. I'm not going to address the tabling. What I am going to address is the fact that this brings things into an equity of the fact that we had a number of employees who had been here for longevity, and they were actually being paid less than some of the newer employees. And that was some of the issues as well. And this created an equity. The previous speaker talked about how we have paid we have agreed to union contracts and so on. And we have granted, the firefighters union has taken us a long time at times to agree to those contracts and so on. Well, the unaffiliated, as the previous speaker mentioned, we have gone over this ad nauseum. We did studies. We talked about it. We corrected the studies. We redid the study. We brought in different groups of people. We looked at other cities, what they were doing. I think to ask our unaffiliated to wait just that much longer would be wrong. To what end? Maybe you have questions. The question should have been asked before today. I'm sorry. I think it's time we pass this. They've been waiting long enough. And to ask our employees who have been here for a long time to wait that much longer, and that people who have less time in service are getting paid more, that's wrong. And they're getting paid more because we couldn't hire. So we had to give them some added benefits, padded salaries and whatever, and it's done all the time in government, whether it be federal government, whether it be municipal government, whether it be outside. It is done to get these, but we're going to lose our long-time employees if we don't do this. And I don't want to lose the historical employees, so I will be voting in favor of this.
Madam President, now Tim Cummings is here to answer questions, so you ask for it, presto, he appears. So there he is.
Director Cummings, would you care to give us some insight on this?
Just hanging out in your recharging closet?
Happy to. Again, for the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services. I'm going to be doing some of these questions from memory. If I missed one, please let me know. I think there was a question relative to implementation, and so there was originally a conversation about a 2-year approach for implementation. However, after consulting with CFO Griffin, it was his recommendation we do it in 1 year. He believes it will be approximately $450,000-ish to implement, and that's something that we can accommodate within the FY27 budget, and we would do that now and have that be part of our guideline that gets promulgated in the midwinter timeframe. Relative to the benefits, that conversation certainly did come up the 3, 4, 5 times we were at the committee discussing this topic. At the time, I believe it was discussed that there would be a corresponding benefits impact. I think 15% is a fair number to use on top of the salaries, but that is a separate and distinct issue. It's a separate line item in our budget, and I wouldn't necessarily correlate the benefits to a salary wage study that we ultimately undertook. To some of the other comments, we have passed contracted, affiliated employees. Those contracts have passed and have passed unanimously here. Unaffiliated employees have not had any type of review like this in over 5 years. I think 2018 approximately, off the top of my head, was the last time this issue was addressed in this order of magnitude. And so with that being said, and the amount of work we've put into this over the year and a half, we've studied it, having a professional consultant come in, help us develop the chart that you have before you, and we're seeking adoption on. I think it's ready for us to be able to do it. So I'd ask for your favorable approval this evening. Thank you.
We have Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. I fully intend to support this tonight as a courtesy to my colleague who wanted more questions. In noticing that at the time Director Cummings was not there, I supported the motion to table, but now he is here. So if we had tabled it, we could have brought it off the table immediately. So no harm, no foul. I think it's been quite a long time for the folks who are unaffiliated that get the raise that they need, or the just being brought up to par with their equals in other city government roles throughout the state and the region. But one thing that I wish Alderman Jetty was here. If someone has a question, I get it. Maybe it's like the quorum or the old rules, go to all the committees, ask your questions. Yes, that is the proper way to do it. But sometimes we can't do that. And I hope that through our role as an elected official in this capacity where we actually make the final vote, we can ask whatever question that we want and not to have it immediately thought to be some kind of nefarious undermining of the committee itself, because that was not my intention to support the tabling motion. Thank you.
Alderman Govea.
Thank you, Madam President. So I supported the tabling motion. I do think that would have been good answers to have. We ended up getting them. Either way, I plan on supporting this. I feel like I have lived this salary survey. My wife was one of the people who worked on it. And, you know, when you're doing a salary survey, you then go and take a job that pays 22% higher at another municipality. So, yeah, I think that goes to show, yeah, we do need salary adjustments in the city. When you could go to a municipality, has a third less employees, and you're making substantially more. So I do think this was a very well done study, and I look forward to supporting it. Thank you.
Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. I just wanted to respond to the fact that, you know, a question was asked. And the only thing that I will say is that, you know, we should come to the meetings prepared. It's okay to ask a question, but, you know, the question that was asked was from back in June. So the person asking the question had 3 months to also ask the question and didn't do so. Decided to do it last minute and put the committee chairman on the hot seat, and I don't think that's very fair or nice. And you know, so I take exception to that. We really should be doing our jobs. If you have a question, call Director Cummings, send him an email, but do your job.
Alderman Lopez.
So I probably would have supported a motion to re-refer so we could at least have a conversation about it. I do find that whenever I'm in favor of a piece of legislation, then it is requested that it go back to committee. Whether I'm opposed to it and I have objections and I didn't go to committee things, then everybody says, well, you should have gone to the committee meeting. So if, as a personal favor, everybody could just stop objecting to things where I was in the committee, I would appreciate that. But I think overall, we get very caught up in the forms and the procedures, and we can very easily lose track of the actual issues. It's 100% true. We could just ask city staff before the meeting as individuals and then have them send a communication. So it's not like we don't have, you know, resources, and we can go to the committees. I don't think any of us are that overbooked. But I also think that just saying everybody needs to hold up because I have a question that I didn't ask is problematic, and particularly when you have an issue of city staff members waiting for guidance on what their pay is going to be. I think we really need to take that seriously and be as attentive to that as possible. This has been very thoroughly presented to us multiple times throughout this year, and I think this has been on the radar for like several. So I think it's time to do it. I definitely support it. I think everyone else has said everything else better, so I will be voting in favor.
Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank and apologize to Director Cummings for coming out of a portal somewhere. I don't know where he came from. You know, man, show yourself before we table it. I mean, it was that close to being tabled. When we have a chance now to actually pass a good piece of legislation and an important piece of legislation. So I do appreciate you coming forward and helping us answer those questions so we can move forward. Thank you.
Alderman Senate.
Thank you, Madam President. Like my colleague at large, I don't want my vote to table to be misconstrued as a lack of support for our unaffiliated employees. I would challenge anybody who thinks that to get to know me better. I think I've proven myself to that degree at this point. That being said, I won't begrudge Alderman Sullivan for asking a question any more than I would begrudge Alderwoman Kelly for not having the answer at the ready for 3 months later from a discussion. I'm probably one of the most absent-minded aldermen sitting around this horseshoe. I can't tell you the number of times I've tried to put the left shoe on the right foot. I try to come here prepared. I try to have my ducks in a row. Sometimes those things don't happen. I think there's a lot of validity in asking questions to making sure that we're passing the legislation, we're passing it right. And I'm very thankful that Director Cummings showed up when he did, so that we could get the answers that we needed and move on. It's very helpful to have city staff here when those questions do arise. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one, the motion is for final passage of Ordinance 2563. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries, and Ordinance 2563 is declared duly adopted.
Second reading of O-25-064, amendments to permitted parking areas.
Alderman Sullivan.
Sorry, I had it up here for 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'd like to make a motion for final passage of O-25-064 by roll call, please.
You've heard the motion. Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries, and Ordinance 2564 is declared duly adopted. New business resolutions. Sorry.
First reading of R-25-197, authorizing developer agreements with payment in lieu of taxes pilot for Phase 1 of the Maynard Homes redevelopment.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Senate, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Budget Review Committee, the Planning Board, and Sam Durfee, okay, Planning Manager, Administrative Officer. It's the first time I've seen someone's name in there. Okay.
First reading of R-25-198, establishing the use of fund balance for tax rate.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Thibodeau, Alderman Gouveia, I knew I'd get it, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Budget Review Committee.
First reading of R-25-199, authorizing Pennachuck Waterworks, Inc. to issue bonds in an amount not to exceed $99 million.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien. That's it? Okay. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Pennachuck Water Special Committee.
First reading of R-25-200, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua regarding the street hockey court located at Memorial Park.
Additional sponsors.
I think I'm already on it, am I?
No, you're not.
Okay, please.
Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Thibodeau, Alderman Gouveia, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Clemmons, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make the motion to suspend the rules and allow for a second reading of R-25-200.
Motion is to suspend the rules. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Gouveia.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
13 yeas, 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a further motion for final passage of R-25-200
You've heard the
by
mo-
roll call.
Yes, you've heard the motion. Is there further discussion on that?
May I speak briefly?
Alderman O'Brien. Yep.
We had an informational presentation in the Infrastructure Committee, and I don't know if all of you have seen it, but this is going to enhance the whole community. It's going to help out the Boys and Girls Club, and it can be used as part of our park and recreation system as well. As the mayor has discussed, there's going to be different times and everything for allowed. But the Boston Bruins are involved. It's going to be a street hockey rink. There's going to be the Bruins logo on it, and it's really a direct enhancement. Let's keep the kids off the street where they can get into trouble, and let's get them in a hockey rink, you know? And that's the good thing that's going to come out of this. And the reason why it's kind of have a little difficulty, yeah, we do own part of the property in adjacent to the Boys and Girls Club. But this basically concedes that for the betterment of the good, we're going to push this product through. Believe me, from what I've seen in the consumption plans, you will be proud of it, and I'm glad to sponsor this. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Lopez.
So I met with the Boys and Girls Club staff when this was earlier in the planning. I agree with my colleague, and I apologize for snickering with the statement, let's get kids off the streets and into hockey rings where there will be no trouble at all. But I think the Boys and Girls Club runs a great program. I think having more amenities for kids in inner cities to keep themselves busy is certainly a good thing, but also identity formation, being able to work with it, play with the team members, other kids, become good at something that then you can take pride in. It means a lot to kids, and I think it means a lot to the community too. Imagining parents that are going to get to watch their kids play and all that. That whole area is something amazing to see. I know some of my colleagues can speak to what it's like to go over there when they have multiple games going and all the families are there watching it. So I think this is a great project, and I think it's a great use of the space.
Anyone else? Okay, motion is for final passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Gouveia.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries, and Resolution 25-200 is declared duly adopted.
First reading of R25-201, relative to the acceptance of $650,000 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Safety into police grant activity fiscal year 2026 Granite Shield Substance Abuse Reduction Initiative Grant.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Dowd, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll send that to the Human Affairs Committee.
First reading of R-25-202, relative to the acceptance of $48,200 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Safety into police grant activity, New Hampshire Highway Safety fiscal year 2026 grant.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Moran, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Dowd, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll sign that to the Human Affairs Committee.
First reading of R-25-203, authorizing the sale of tax-deeded property located at 227 Pine Street to former owner.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure.
First reading of R-25-204, relative to the acceptance of $68,250 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation State Fiscal Year 2026 to 2027 capital match funds into transit grant activity, transit capital projects, and $534,638 from State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation State Fiscal Year 2026-2027 operating match funds into transit grant activity, Federal Transit Administration, FTA operating grant.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Human Affairs Committee.
First reading of R-25-205, relative to the supplemental appropriation of $25,000 of unanticipated revenue into Fund 4615 Housing Revolving Fund.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll sign that to the Budget Review Committee and schedule a special Board of Aldermen public hearing on Monday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. in the Aldermanic Chamber.
First reading of R-25-206, relative to the transfer of $75,000 from Department 194 Contingency Account 70100 General Contingency to Department 129 City Buildings, Accounting Classification 54 Property Services relative to the Keefe Auditorium.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clee, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Budget Review Committee.
First reading of R-25-207, relative to foreign ownership of property located in the city of Nashua.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Clemmons, Alderman Senate, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee.
First reading of R-25-208, relative to the Daniel Webster College property.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Senate, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clee, Alderman Dowd, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Personnel Administrative Affairs Committee. Without objection, I will suspend the rules to allow for an additional resolution that was received after the agenda was prepared.
First reading of R-25-209, authorizing Pennachuck Corporation and Pennachuck Waterworks, Inc. to increase the loan from the State of New Hampshire PFAS Remediation Grant and Loan Fund.
Additional sponsors, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Moran, Alderman Dowd, Alderman Lopez, Alderwoman Kelly, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Pennachuck Water Special Committee. New business ordinances.
First reading of O-25-065, no parking on a section of the west side of Marshall Street.
Additional sponsors. Alderman Moran, Alderman Clay, Alderman Dowd. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure.
First reading of O-25-066, authorizing stop signs on Harbor Avenue at its intersection with Bowers Street.
Additional sponsors. Alderman Moran, Alderman Clay. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure.
First reading of O-25-067, replacing a yield sign with a stop sign on Crown Street at its northeast corner with Arlington Street.
Additional sponsors. Alderman Moran, Alderman Clay, Alderman Dowd, and myself. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure.
First reading of O-25-068, authorizing stop signs on Underhill Street at its intersection with Newberry Street.
Additional sponsors. Alderman Moran, Alderman Clay.
A lot of people don't drive through Ward 7.
Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure.
Touche.
Period for general public comment. One person signed up, Paula Johnson.
Good evening, my name is Paula Johnson, 15 West Bourne Drive. I wanted to talk about the Daniel Webster College. I think Attorney Bolton and Alderman Wilshire has some history on it. I believe that there was an alderman named Mark Cookson that I believe wanted to purchase that college when the college went under. And I think that's something that this board should really go back and take a look at and see why it didn't go through. I don't remember if it was under Streeter or Lozo, who was the mayor, but I think that's something you'll get some history on, because that's when the college went out and they stopped all the flight schools, and then somehow we found out that the Chinese businessman came in. If you take a look, and I spoke about that during the public comment period with the Pennachuck Water, there was the attorney down, I believe, in, Virginia, that put the deal together. So that's a little bit of history if you're going to be looking at trying to purchase or whatever you want to try to do with this college. And you have to go back over history, because old blood is good as new blood in a chamber, because of the fact the old blood kind of knows what went on in history. The other thing I want to talk about, R-25-198, I think it's nice of everybody that there's $6 million on unassigned fund balance that's going to be applied towards our tax rate this year. But I'm just kind of curious, when we talked about 6% tax rate this year possibly, it's going to be curious to see how far that $6 million spread out over all our properties is going to drop the tax rate. But I guess we have to say thank you for applying something, but it's really not enough for the taxpayers on our property. Thank you very much.
Okay. Remarks by members of the board. I'm going to start over here tonight. Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, just really quick, I want to send my condolences to the Paling family. Colonel Robert Paling passed away recently. I went to the funeral down at the Cape. He was interred at the Joint Base Cape Cod, and his daughter Sarah is a Natural High teacher at Natural High South. So my condolences.
Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say that, you know, we get a lot of heat sometimes on, like, rubber stamping things. And when you look at, if you looked at our paper tonight, it would look like we rubber stamped, because it's basically 13-0, 14, whatever, how many people we have here tonight, to 0. So we all voted on everything unanimously, but if you look on paper, it doesn't explain what we did. Like, we had these discussions on items tonight, and I think it's important that even though we vote together, it's okay that we did that. It's not a rubber stamp. It's that we agree with the legislation that we have created, or the legal department has created for us, and the things that we do. So I think, you know, I think it's okay that we do that, and it's not a rubber stamp. We've already done the work to get to this point where we try to put good legislation through. So I just wanted to kind of make that known. So thank you.
Alderman Clemmons?
Thank you, Madam President. So I wanted to bring up a topic I hadn't talked about in a while, which is my favorite administration down in Washington, D.C. You know, I haven't brought this up in a while, but we've seen some pretty incredible things over the summer. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about actually is, while it's related to the Trump administration, it actually has to do with the Supreme Court, and that is that they came out with a disappointing ruling the other day that basically allows ICE, and I guess anyone, if you really look at the order, to racially profile people. So you can be going down the street, and if the cops can pull you over based on your race. You can be walking down the street speaking a different language. The cops can stop you based on the fact that you're not speaking English. This is what the Supreme Court has decided. This is what the Supreme Court has decided. So this is our Constitution being taken away from us. Because, and one of the justices had the nerve, Justice Kavanaugh had the nerve to say, well, once they establish the fact that you're a citizen, then they let you go. Well, how do you determine that? Am I supposed to carry around a passport? I mean, I have to carry around documentation now in my own country? This is ridiculous. We've gone beyond the pale here. So it is very important to understand that these things are going to have a real world effect on the people who live here in Nashua. Now, I don't think that the Nashua police are going to racially profile anyone, but ICE could come into Nashua and do that. I don't know what the state police are going to do. I don't know what the FBI does. There's other law enforcement besides our local law enforcement, and they can come in here and they have jurisdiction because we're a part of the United States. We're a part of New Hampshire. So, you know, I say this as a warning because things are getting worse, and, you know, these things are not necessarily being broadcast as loud as they should be. And so that's why I'm using this platform basically to get this information out. And, you know, it's going to start affecting your neighbors. And it's already affecting the, you know, these deportations are already affecting the economy. If you look at the jobs growth, it was 0. And the reason is because you can't expect to grow jobs if you're deporting the workforce. It's the reality of it. We have a net negative migration in the United States for the first time in over 50 years. So no one's coming in. We have jobs that are available. We have people being taken out of those jobs. And this is what happens. The economy is going to shrink. People are going to lose money. People are going to lose jobs. It's just a matter of time. And we have a Supreme Court that's being complicit in allowing them to take away our constitutional rights, even though it's in black and white, that they can't do these things. So my point is, it's very incumbent upon us as elections come up, ask people, where do you stand on the Donald Trump administration? Where do you stand on this particular issue? Do you stand with them, or are you over here and against that? It's important. It's important to know where everyone stands on that issue. So I bring this up because, you know, we have some important elections coming up, and I encourage everyone to ask that question of the candidates.
Alderman Lopez.
Soy American, mi familia es de Pembroke, pero mi amigos es todo el mundo. So one of the earlier speakers said that Alderman Cookson had made a proposal to buy Daniel Webster College. I think I was on the board at the time, And if I recall, it was his plan to do that instead of building the Performing Arts Center. And I think the objection was, number one, that there was no back of the house for the auditorium that he wanted to use as a Performing Arts Center. And then number two, we didn't have a clear vision of what we could do with the rest of the college. That being said, it has recently been used as a emergency shelter transitional program for at-risk homeless youth, which I think we could definitely do some residential support with it. And I know that the soccer community around Nashua is always looking for fields, and I believe uses that one. So definitely plenty of utility for the city of Nashua. I just don't particularly want to jump on the bandwagon of now I'm afraid of everybody who's foreign owning property. If there are legitimate security concerns, then that can be legitimately investigated. But I think just putting news articles out and saying, oh, now we're afraid of Chinese people, I think that's not a good way for our community to do business. It's my understanding that some of these investors were invited and engaged in economic development. And now that we've changed our minds, I guess we're going to assume they're up to some kind of no good. I don't think that's the way Nashua should be. I think any large-scale investment in this community should be certainly examined and through the zoning board and the planning board. But I think we can't just start picking countries and saying, those are the ones we don't like. And then finally, I'd like to announce to the public that I have successfully married Shawanda Daniels Williams. And she'll be changing her name as soon as the snail that's riding a turtle gets our marriage certificate here from Bermuda. But I'm very much looking forward to this new chapter of my life. And thank you, Shawanda, for saying yes.
Congratulations, Alderman Lopez. Alderman Sullivan. Sorry I missed you.
No worries. Thank you. I wanted to just make a comment from earlier tonight, and I don't know if I was being reprimanded or scolded or whatever, but just for the record, I had watched those meetings, and I had 5 questions that I had sent to the appropriate parties on the 4th of September. And I got the answers back. I didn't look at the timestamp on the email, but I did get them, and I had been traveling all day, so I had a chance to read them before the meeting. But those additional questions that I had came up after I had sent those out there. So I do, well, I don't come up with all the questions ahead of time. I do have a tendency to think about legislation that's before me to make a fully informed decision. So I will continue to ask questions either at the committees that I'm on, committees that I can make that I'm not on, and if it's fully before me, I'll continue to do that because I want to make an informed decision before I vote on it. I'd like to end on a high note, and as the summer has gone past, from where I sat and from what I observed, the noise about outdoor dining has been significantly turned down. And I don't know if it was an economic success. I had gone downtown a few days. I was down for the summer stroll and had eaten out a couple of times before that. Seemed like it did okay. I don't know what the restaurant said. Logistically, I thought it was a success, and I wanted to compliment Alderman Clemens because I know that that was his brainchild to bring in the barriers a little bit more and open up the 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. So I thought that, I don't know if anyone else had noticed that, but I had noticed that the noise around extended outdoor dining had been turned way down, and I wanted to take my hat off to him for coming up with that solution. So thank you.
Alderman Gouveia, you all set?
All set.
Okay, Alderman Thibodeau.
Kind of to parrot what Alderman Sullivan just said, and Alderman Senate, I don't know, I put myself in the same bucket. You know, I'm not a quick from the hip kind of guy. I like to ponder, and I do it a lot. I read the agenda a few times. I watch the YouTube videos for the meetings that I don't come to. I send emails. Many times my emails do not get answered, especially in a timely fashion. So I also will ask questions when I'm dealing with the people's money and situations that impact these people. I will ask the questions at any meeting that I am in, whether it's the Board of Aldermen meeting or any committee meeting. And Alderman Clemmons, I agree with some of your statements.
Okay. Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Madam President. First and foremost, happy 5th birthday to my daughter Autumn. My youngest is her 5th. She is a kindergartner, and I don't know where, she was a pandemic baby, so I don't know where that time has gone. So very happy. I'm sure she's asleep, but maybe not. But happy birthday to her. And also congratulations to Tom and Shawanda. Remarkable milestone of life. I was there to help celebrate, and it was, I know I couldn't be on the cruise, but I was able to attend your reception downtown, which was amazing. Wanted to take a moment to thank everyone again for supporting Kratom, unanimous. That was amazing.
We weren't supporting Kratom.
Supporting banning it for 20 and under. Thank you, Alderman Lopez. I think it's going to be a great educational piece to the business owners that sell it here in Nashua to at least understand that there's some danger behind it, and hopefully that'll make some impact on the people who are trying to buy it, to think twice and do their research of whether it's good or not for them. And I would say, I concur with my colleague at large. From time to time, I carry and conceal here in New Hampshire. I don't need to carry proof when I do that. But I may need to carry my passport. Am I probably going to be racially profiled? Probably not. I look American, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, great smile. But the folks that are constantly put into a category that they don't belong here, who are American citizens, are going to get hassled, like my Puerto Rican cousins, who are consistently told they are not American. And they are. They're U.S. citizens. The territory of Puerto Rico belongs to America. So I do agree with you that it's having an impact also here on the national economy. And it was said basically by the mayor today, the homeless issue is getting worse. When does that happen? We saw the first huge explosion of that during the 2009 recessions. Now we're seeing it again. It's frustrating to have fourth string in charge of policies at the economic policies at the federal level that come down to the state level and city level that really impact us. And there's nothing we can do about it. We don't have near the funds to fix all their problems. And we pay out so much, and we're not getting anything back anymore. And that's frustrating. And they're cutting programs. Thank God Job Corps got a Hail Mary save, but from a judge here in New Hampshire, I believe. From shutting down, they got an extension, which is good. But we still lost those federal programming for senior citizens who want to get back in the job force. The grants are cut. People want to work, and they're not being retrained into a vocation that a 72-year-old can do without a little extra help. Something they've never done before. Those things are gone. And I get it, we can't pay for everything, but we could have reformed in a more practical way to not have this. So, again, and positive, happy birthday, Autumn.
All set, Alderman O'Brien?
Oh, I'm as happy as a clam, thank you.
Committee announcements. Alderman Moran.
Thank you. We're going to be holding 2 PEDC meetings this month. It'll be on the 16th and the 30th, both at 7 p.m. We're going to try to wrap up all the rezoning detailed pieces of the legislation before it comes to the full board, and hopefully before Sam goes on paternity leave. But if we need to, we will wait till he gets back.
Alderman Lopez.
Human Affairs Committee is next Monday.
Alderman Clee.
Tomorrow, there's a Pennachuck Special Water Committee meeting, so I hope all the members will be there at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Alderwoman Kelly.
If I could ask a question through you to the chair of BEDC.
Yes.
Do you anticipate during either of those meetings there were some questions around inclusionary zoning. Do you think that they'll be addressed in those, or would that be a different time?
I will believe that if we don't have the answers by next week on that particular question, it will be at that last meeting on the 30th. Because the goal is for after that meeting, for all the package, a recommendation come from the committee to the full board. And that's, I don't think the committee would let it pass without getting the feedback that was requested on behalf of the chair. Some members of the committee disagreed with my questioning, teasing someone from Ward 8. But I think we wouldn't let that move forward if we didn't get that information back.
Great, thank you.
Okay, non-public session. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion that the Board of Aldermen go into non-public session by roll call pursuant to RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, L, to consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present, and pursuant to RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, M, consideration of whether to disclose minutes of a non-public session due to a change in the circumstances under paragraph 3. However, any vote on whether to disclose minutes shall take place in public session.
Alderman Clemmons.
I second.
Okay. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Alderman Thibodeau.
Yes.
Alderman Govea.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderman Sullivan.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Senate.
Yes.
Alderman Tebow.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion carries, and we are going into non-public at 9:22, so we're going to ask everyone in the audience to please leave.